Welcome, property investors. This is the Building in Perth podcast with your two hosts, Chris Holland and Tony Hyde. If you're a property investor or you're curious about investing in property in Western Australia, this is the podcast for you. The reason for that is we're not going to hold back. We're not going to sugarcoat things. We're certainly not going to bullshit you, and we're going to exploit everything that you need to know. Every month, we're going to have special guests on, industry professionals, and then we're going to release an episode every single Monday. So you're not going to miss anything. So please stay tuned, like and subscribe so you never miss anything, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to the Building in Perth podcast with your host Tony Hyde and
Chris Holland.
Awesome. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for jumping on and listening to our podcast. Really appreciate it. Today on this podcast, me and Chris are going to talk about more so social media and internet, Google reviews, that kind of thing, pages to avoid, pages to look at, and just some of the pros and cons of what to look for when you're going and doing your research for finding out what builder you want to go with.
First of all, Merry Christmas.
Oh, well, that's some shirt.
This is, no, thank you.
That's the shirt you win, by the way. From
Yours is nice as well, but
mine's more summery.
Yours is more summery, mine is more Christmas. Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you're having a good break. This should be getting released just after Christmas.
I think so, yeah. So perfect time to listen to this because you'll have loads of downtime. You'll be scrolling your social media. You may be thinking about, I want to get an investment property, I want to buy a house, whatever. Listen to this, but you might be because you've got. Well, when you wake up in the morning, you're scrolling a wee bit. Just see me late at night. Just jump on your phone and shout, "I want to build a house. Want to build a house," and algorithms will just pick it up for you. 100%. And happy birthday for the other day, Chris. You are age of old. All right. Anyway, let's get stuck in. So let's start off like social media, right? It's as we know, it's a beast. You've got all the platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All the things.
LinkedIn, Snapchat, fucking Twitter. And
everyone's on it. House and land experts, they were the first to really start abusing it, that sort of thing, especially in WA. So look, just what I really find with the social media, so it's a really, really quick, easy way to get information. Like, it's on your fingertips, it's there. So there's loads of pros and cons around that, right? Loads of pros and cons. So talk to me some of the good and bad stuff, Chris. Let's talk about some of the cons first.
A lot of the cons... fake profiles. Someone's had a really bad experience. They get a bee in the bonnet with a specific company, even a specific person. Let's just say you're building a house and the supervisor's a knob, or one of the tradies fucking tell you, like, whatever. You have a real negative experience, and it could be anything. You have a price variation. There's a lot of fucking Karens in the world.
Yeah.
And they can take things. They can make it. What is it?
Do things too far?
They can take things way too far. I was trying to think of that ant out of a molehill.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so in short, you've got a bad experience. Maybe there's a bit of a delay, which is obviously the current negativity. But maybe you just don't clash with the supervisor and you just dislike that guy or female or whatever. And all of a sudden, you've got this keyboard warrior who's absolute beast on social media or on the internet or on forums or on Reddit or stuff like that, and they just go to town on this building company. So it doesn't mean the builder's bad. Like, someone could have a bad experience, but the internet is so powerful. It's the same as food reviews, right? I mean, you only need someone to undercook a bit of chicken and all of a sudden that fucking restaurant's under fire forever for uncooked chicken. So it's no different, really, building companies. So I think it's really good. I love social media. I think it's very powerful, and you can speak your freedom of speech type of thing really well on it. A lot of people hear it if you want them to, but yeah, it can be really negative. So I just think there's so many keyboard warriors that I get smashed all the time, man. I make one mistake in anything I say and people jump on me and hound me for it. So, or people might just not like me, so that's fine. But in social media, they're also got freedom of speech, so they can really, really put someone down or a building company down. So I'd say that's the biggest con with social media. Yeah, you got to be aware. So, like, to go a little bit deeper into that, especially like, let's just take an example of someone building, right? And then, they're builders, they make mistakes. Have you, when you read a review, find out, did they actually give the building company a chance to rectify it? Because a lot of time they've went in there, seen it, the supervisor hasn't been on site to double check the work to sign off, so that trade's done that job, he hasn't got paid until that supervisor signed off on it, so they might not even seen it, maybe a couple of days, and then you're jumping on and smashing them on one of these many Facebook pages that we'll talk in a second. Just make sure that these guys have had to go out and
if you're going to put a review in, make sure that they give the builder a chance to fix it, right? Because like anything, if you're at a food restaurant and the chicken's crap, hey, this isn't right. 9 times out of 10 they'll fix it and it'll come back perfect. People make mistakes, so just be aware of that. Now, I'm not taking away the fact that there are dodgy builders and they'll just absolutely ruin you out there and just take the piss. Absolutely. But you're paying for a product, ask for it right. Sometimes it might not be right. You've got to just ask them and give the builders that chance to rectify it, right?
I think a good one. So Google reviews are a good one, because normally when someone writes a negative or positive review on Google, the builder will come back and thank them, or actually back themselves up. In social media, you don't often get the builder jumping on there and defending itself, you know what I mean? It's a social platform. It's kind of not as a professional platform as Google in some instances. So yeah, I think that's a good point. Not often do you see someone write a negative review on a page or a social media page and then actually show evidence of the builder refusing to fix it.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, the builder will fix something if it gets picked up, if it's within reason, by the way, if they have to do it. But more often than not, this is someone's building a house. They don't have a clue about building houses. They're not tradespeople or whatever. So what they think looks bad actually is in standards. So I think that's a good point. Yeah. Most often than not, builders will rectify things, because most builders use subcontractors. And subcontractors work for different companies, and they basically go to whoever pays them the most, essentially. Or whoever gives them the most work. So yeah, occasionally you're going to get dodgy tradies on site, or not as skilled tradies, should I say, not dodgy, that don't do the right thing. But 9 times out of 10, the builder will rectify it. Yeah.
And if you get an answer from the supervisor or the building company and it doesn't feel right, you're not too sure, go and get a second opinion. Send it through to us on an email and we'll have a look at it. We'll let you know whether it's right or wrong and give you the reasons. I had a client the other day about basins, and the plunger wouldn't work. And they tried, and the builder, I said to him, let the builder try and fix it. Couldn't get it, and we just went, we're not accepting this. We paid a premium. The builders accepted it, and we're going to replace the basins. But you've got to give them a chance to rectify it, right? So, especially that. So, I want to go into like a lot of the building companies, especially on I'd say more Facebook's more dominant for these building companies. For the paid ads and stuff right now. We're starting to see more on the TikTok and Instagrams, but Facebook, just because the building companies, some of the big, especially the bigger ones, still focus on that 30 plus, and that's really a Facebook market. When you're reviewing them on there and you see the paid adverts and all that stuff come up, have a look at the advert and then have a look at the likes and the comments. If they're one of the biggest building companies in there, who will remain nameless, although you love shouting their name out, and they've got 2 comments, do you really think they've only got 2 comments on one of their posts, or they're hiding it? And I'd be asking, why are they fucking hiding it?
Of course they hide it, yeah. Like some of the bigger companies, the big companies, have specific people employed just for social media to go in and counter-argue anybody who writes a negative review, or actually the opposite, bluff and make accounts up and write positive reviews. So yeah, it's all a big fucking game. But that's the thing with social media, is it's not as authorised or restricted, I guess. It's not. How can you police it? It's social.
And some of these big building companies have tried to police. We'll just jump. I know we're jumping a little bit ahead, but they put in. So be careful in your contract. There's a gag clause in there, right?
Some builders use.
Not all of them. Some builders are in there, and it's in your contract about you posting negative reviews on any social media or Google type sort of platform, right?
Yeah.
And we know for a fact that they've got some of these companies have teams who are there just scrolling through social media with their clients looking for their name to pop up, and then they're going to hammer you with an email, a passive aggressive email.
Yeah, 100%. And they can threaten you up to 20 odd, 30 odd grand for slander or whatever. And it's in your contract that you didn't read because you were so excited because the salesman did a good job at telling you how beautiful your house is going to be. And then you've got no option but to remove that post. So this is actually something that happens today. You can't really police it. You're not going to get them to change the contract. That is what it is. So, again, not all builders do it, but a high percentage of builders do it. So you can't even actually express your feelings because they'll fine you money.
So if there's any time, if you haven't watched any of our early episodes, go back to episode 1 where we talk about 2-year build times. We explain how to avoid getting into this exact situation, right? By doing your research. And there's a whole podcast. Go back and read it. Some great tips and points about it. But that's the reason that you'd go and do your due diligence, and that's what we're saying from the social media point of view, the do's and don'ts of it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm back on the Google review comments as well. If any builder's got a 5-star review, I'd be a bit worried because not very many have, right? And if they have have a look at the comments. Is everyone comment? Are they actually in Perth? Are they actually where the building's happening? Or are they all from New South Wales? Because
you can pay bots, can't you?
Yeah.
You can pay bots to write your reviews. Like there's one of my competitor builder brokers, our competitor builder brokers, should I say, has got over 100 5-star reviews. I'll give you a tip. He paid people. He paid bots to give them reviews. They're not real people, and it's not uncommon, by the way. Like massive companies do it as well, but
Yep.
Specifically speaking, like a direct competitor of ours, paid someone. So we've got 50 5-star reviews. We've helped over 300 people. 250 people just didn't want to write a review.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are people that actually do just pay bots and stuff to do.
And on that as well, we as a building company, broking company, are actually inviting you to contact our clients and say, hey, how did you find the experience working with us? We openly encourage it. Please do it. And if there is any sort of negative, and we're not absolutely perfect, we've made a mistake here and there, but we own it and we go and get it fixed, right? Because that's what you want to do. So absolutely. What else? The legal action, the contracts and stuff. Yeah, that's just be really honest. We've heard that legal stuff. We've heard them people getting into some real fights about it. It's a bit scary, by the way.
I think a good thing about social media, so that's the cons. I think a very positive thing is there's lots of guys and girls now giving building tips, and some of them are good,
amazing.
some of them are crap, but most of them are pretty good, and it's educational. So I recommend finding these people. They're on TikTok, they're on Facebook and Instagram and whatever. Like I've got a mate again who's his name's Stuart. He does building tips and he's a competitor. He's a builder broker, but he's good. Like what he says is good. He actually tells clients, what to look out for at the start. He's a plumber by trade, so most of his stuff is about shit and piss, but which is not very exciting. But that's his forte, right? That's his niche market. So, but no, he's really good. He gives he gives clients lots of tips, which is really good. Tiles and like I said, a lot of shit and piss tips. But other than that, he'll also advise you on which builders to go with, what not to. But he explains the building jargon. So, as builders or in the industry, we know what a lot of things mean, but not everyone does. So.
Yeah.
I think he's on TikTok, as we are, House and Land Expert. But I think these types of people are very good to follow. And look, you don't have to take everything they do as gospel, but just take a little bit. If you're following 5-6 people and they're all putting up different pieces of content every week, and you can pick up 20% of that information, you're 20% better off than what you were. So there are a lot of good things in regards to social media. Another one is buyers advocates and property investors. So I follow this chick in Melbourne, I think she is, and she's a property investor she's a buyer advocate for property investors, I should say. And what she does is go through the established homes. She doesn't do anything to do with new builds, but she goes through the established market. But she gives her tips on what makes a property more valuable. So this is something like I'm sitting in Perth, not interested in established market in Melbourne, but I'm learning so much from her because she tells you what she sees the trend in. You get more money for this. This is a waste of money. Swimming pools are a big waste of money. It doesn't increase the value of your property by any like not $1, but people love it. Now she will tell you, all right, if you were to spend that $40,000 doing this, this, and this, it's going to increase the value of your property. So again, that's social media. I don't know her. I've never met her. I'd like to meet her one day. Emily Wallace, her name is. I'd like to chat to her, but the only way I can meet with her and connect with her is through social media, and the information she gives is brilliant. So again, that's a real positive of social media. If people are putting out content, you get to watch it for free.
It's perfect. And what I've seen
Otherwise,
as well,
it's the block, right?
Right.
That is the alternative. You watch the block.
Yeah. And they string that out. That could be an hour show. That I tell you. There's some real good building companies that are really active in social media, right? There's one in particular we know that we work with pretty close. They're pretty good, and their social media accounts are pretty good. Everything from what do you want in a colour to house, right? Any building tips, and that stuff's really good, and all this stuff's pretty decent. Some of the people deliver it, they're all right, but do you know what I mean? La Vida.
Yeah,
so they're pretty good.
Good.
They don't be fooled by the fact they're only like a couple of years old. They're backed by a guy who's been in the building industry for many years. Many years, own Ventura homes, all that stuff. So they're actually a really good builder.
Yeah, they're awesome. I don't have anything negative to say about Vida. They're a great building company. They've got a space in the market, so they know their niche. They know their clientele. They're not going to build certain houses. They don't want to do infill blocks or fancy designs or high end stuff. But there's definitely a space in the market for their target audience, and they smash it. They're one of the best.
If you go on Levida's website or their socials, their comments are amazing, because their customer service is probably up there with CC West CC West customer service. Oh, and all on, like, dead serious, the customer service is fantastic. You know, the girls there are brilliant. No, definitely. But one of the things that they showed us is what they do is get their clients to kind of create a new Instagram account, all right, and get onto this, and then they encourage their clients to post through their build time the whole journey, from like signing the papers to doing the pre-start to slab going down, and they go out and post and tag. So there's one of our mutual clients, Homes for Honey, it's called. I'm pretty sure that the account's still live. Ken and Katie, yeah. Katie's like really good on socials, so if you jump on like Homes for Honey and have a look, she'll take you through the whole process, like the ups and the downs. And there's another one I can't remember. I think it's double story build with RBWA, or what was their old company called before they were RBWA? They were New Level Homes, and that girl there's taking you through, and she's given real time. We had to wait for brickies here, or it's taking a bit longer, or the brickies were quick getting the walls up. I've been following that, and some real good tips. So have a look at that stuff, because you're getting people that maybe don't know about the building industry actually giving you their real inside thoughts, and it's great. And if the builder's backing you to do that and covering it, you're on a win-win, because then they're going to be held accountable on social media, and you can't hide on social media, right?
Levida was the first company I found that started promoting clients to create these Instagram pages or Facebook. But in general, even regardless who you're building with, it doesn't matter. I think it's a good idea. Or at least if you're thinking about building, follow other people's journey, and go right back to the start and see, look at the timestamps, look at the dates, and see how long it's taken with other companies and whatever. So one thing that Levida did offer at the start was the speed of service. They were building houses in 9 months and stuff, which was remarkable, you know what I mean? But they had no backlog.
Yeah.
They didn't have 600 houses prior to finish before they start new ones. So just episode 1, ask those questions, but it gives you an idea of tips and points to look at when you're building. So when you go and sit down with these builders, you can have all these questions. Or alternatively, don't come and see us, and we'll do all that work for you, because we're giving you the tips and advice. We already know this stuff, so we can walk you through all that stuff anyway. And if we'll pick the right builder for you. With your help, we'll pick the builder that suits you and your circumstances. Right, the elephant in the room, probably the biggest social media page on Facebook that actually I have mixed reviews on it. Sometimes I think it's good, sometimes I think it's the biggest heap of shit ever, but it's called Shonky Builders WA. What it does is it allows free access to people to basically go on there, and the idea of it is to go up and talk about builders that are actually doing the dodgy on you. I think it's transformed into just bagging some builders out there, which rightly, yes, some of the bigger builders are taking a piss, and wrongly so. But some of the smaller builders.
Yeah, some of the my view on Shonky builders to go out there, and when you get a build and they're doing the dodgy on you, or workmanship isn't great, and you haven't been back to the building and you still don't like it, that's when you start looking at the power of social media. Just to go, oh, this doesn't look right, and you've not given the builder a chance to fix it, or you've went and complained about time increases when you've been told that we're in a building boom. There's things that I think need to stay off it. But anyway, we'll pass on to you, Chris, because you're strong about it.
I couldn't agree more. I think it started as a really good tool, and then it's became the worst tool. So when I deal with clients now, or when we deal with clients, I let them know about it, but I tell them don't look at it, because you're not going to get any positive out of it. If you're thinking about building, or you're excited, or you are building, you will find information on there about the builder that you're going to go through.
Yep.
And it's always going to be negative, because not many people go on there and praise it, okay? So I don't think it's a good idea to jump on it. However, if you have been ripped off, if you have had a 35 grand price increase that's unjustified, if you have had a build that's taken 18 months plus, then go on it and use it, of course. But for people looking to build and looking for advice, that is not the place anymore. It used to be 2 years ago, but now it's just become bigger than Ben Health, and it's just all negative. And now people are uneducated, are just on there for whatever reason.
And we're on it, and we just scour it just for to try and support the builders and support us as well. You'll find every single builder and probably every kind of broker on there as well at some point. If you have to go in there, if you feel like you need to go in and look at it before you build, actually look at the comments and look what's been posted. I'll give you, we've got a builder on there, and I have them about 6 months ago, and this person absolutely slammed the builder. I'm not going to mention the name. It was nothing to do with the builder. It was their own personal finance broker that messed up the deal, and it caused it to be delayed by 3 months, and then slammed the builder for a price increase.
I don't know how many people's on there, 50,000 or something. It's quite a lot anyway. And then you've got 50,000 plus or whatever people reading that comment already got a negative thing in their head about that builder, and it wasn't their fault. We've been on there for 3.5-4 years, and it's been good for us. We've won a lot of business from it, so it's been really good for us. But our clients or people in the industry saying, look, don't go with them, go with these guys, and go to the House and Land Expert or CC West. So it's been really powerful for us. But in saying that, 2 weeks ago, we're on there. So Catherine, who was working with us, was helping this lovely gentleman, Mervyn, and I don't care about naming names because it is what it is. Mervyn has put on there that the House and Land Expert and Red Ink Homes are dodgy. And then there was a few comments, and there's one specific guy who was commenting back and forth, and his name is Ryan Perkins. Now, he is a scumbag, right? I'm just going to say it. I refused to work with him because how he treated my staff, how he treated his missus, and how he treated me. He was just a piece of arse. I didn't want to work with him. I done nothing wrong by him. I basically refused to do business with this guy. He's now driving this one comment about Catherine House and Land, Red Ink Homes, which, by the way, is not even Red Ink or Catherine's fault. So again, it's misinformation by the original client, Mervyn. But now you've got this little scumbag just slagging us off, basically saying that I'm a wanker and this and that and whatever else. So that's just a perfect example of how good it can be, but how bad it can be. And for the people that don't know, is they might be like, fucking hell, they sound dodgy, or they sound this or that. But the truth is, it's completely fabricated, and it's coming from a personal someone that dislikes me because I called him out on his rudeness, basically.
Yeah, and on that, and I'll give you power of our social media background and the people that we've helped and the clients. I got sent that message probably about 15 times in an hour and a half, when it posted you the same, because we both sent each other. And every single one said, this is a lot of shit, mate. This is, are you okay? Is everything all right? And like, wait, like, it's a mistake. It's not completely right, but it happens, right? But we'll fix it. Do you know what I mean? Just jumping on there and anyway. I'm not going through it anymore. So that's Shonkies. I don't want to labour on it too much. It's powerful, but in the wrong way, I feel, right? It's the wrong way. It's the essence of what it was there for was there to help you to expose these builders that are taking the piss, to take your money and running on it, not to complain about a builder that's is taking 3 months too long because we're in a building boom, right? So just be really careful, guys. And if you're unclear about builders, come and see us. We'll tell you the truth. And we've got builders on our panels that we're not even working with at the moment, purely because prices or time frames. But then again, we're also honest with our builders and tell them, hey, we're going to back off you just now because of X, Y, when you can sort that out. I think perfect example was Summit Homes done it. They were great. So anyway, there are some good pages out there.
That's the thing. I think Shonkies is the biggest page, but there's a lot of pages like Building in Perth, and there'll be a Building in Perth podcast one soon. No, there definitely is. There's a lot of good pages in there. There's Pinterest is another fucking app as well, that I recommend jumping on. You also see adverts through that, but there's a lot of positive pages where you can get good information, you get good feedback for builders. I'm a very positive person, so I like to think of the good in everyone. I'll try to push and think light on people rather than negative, you know what I mean? I don't focus on the shit builders, I only focus on the good. And if I'm only focusing on the good, that doesn't even enter my mind, so I'm in a better headspace. So that's my outlook, and there are a lot of these good pages on there. So it's not all negative, but that one page, Shonkies, it's been used too much.
So on Facebook, the Building in Perth podcast, it is live, but we need to start growing it, right? But we've not really launched it out.
These guys are going to help grow it.
But exactly, you guys have got to go in there and we're going to start putting up not only the podcast things, we're going to start putting up little tips, like, so Chris will be on site, I'll be on site. We'll just be doing little tips that we think we can help that come off the back of these podcasts. But what we really want to see is like comments and things that you want to talk about, things that you're not sure of. We're happy to jump out a 50-minute podcast, drop it onto you. Let us know what you want to know about. Let us know about all the stuff that you just don't know. Like, explain this to me, Chris. Tony, explain this, and we'll happily jump on and do it. But if there's only like a little short minute, we'll post it on the page. But start sharing that page and getting out, because we're going to we'll manage it. We want to monitor to be positive vibes. And even if someone puts like a negative sort of connotation, we're going to explain why they're wrong or right. Or if they're right, we'll tell them. But we don't want it to be having dickhead Ryan coming in and just pushing stuff, because we'll just ban that little shit. We don't need that. you go into Shonky's and it's pure negative and you just fucking hate the idea of building. Building should be like the most fun, enjoyable thing.
Yeah.
You come to us, we'll help you with that, all right? 100%. But we'll just tell you the truth, how long it's going to take. Once you know, you can get your head around it.
Couldn't agree more. There's a lot of people, I think, in the last 2 weeks we had 6 email inquiries and they're brilliant, and, I'm helping this lady Amelia up in Kingsley for this potential renovation or knockdown and rebuild. So these are brilliant, but I do encourage people, if they can, to comment on the page and ask us publicly so we can see, so other people can maybe thinking about asking the same question, they get to know the benefits as well. Don't get me wrong, email us, call us as much as you want, but let's just try and grow this page together, and it's a team effort. That's
exactly it. So look, kind of short one today. We just wanted to touch on social media, Google, and just things to look out for when you're reading review. It's a Christmas party as well, so we're going to go on the beers in a minute. Like our shirts. But just if they ever look at review and comments, if they look a bit dodgy and fake, they probably are. Do your due diligence. If you're not sure about that, go and look at episode 1. But I want to talk about, before we leave, I want to talk about 3 exclusive house and land packages that we've got, perfect for investors. We've got one in Hilton, which is actually under the median house price for Hilton. It's a 4x2, and I think it's about Ballack's blocks, about 6%. What's the word I'm looking for now? It just went right in my head. Doesn't matter. It's good return of investment on your rental and stuff. Perfect for investors. And we've got 2 in Yield. That's the one. You can shout it out. I just forgot it. And then the 2 we've got in Wandy.
Yeah, so Wandy's got a new little sub-development by Terranovis, I think it is, right across the road from the school. I live in Wandy. I've got exclusive access to these 2 blocks. Same thing, under the median house price. Wandy's grown at 6 or 7% a year now, which is nice. Now, Wandy's a funny suburb because it's half residential, half acreage. The acreage side hasn't actually increased in value. It's actually all the residential side of the smaller lots, which should I say, more normal lots. So, it's definitely a very good one. It's on Honeywood Ave, I think it is. But yeah, there's a little cul-de-sac there. There's about 40 odd blocks, but we've got 2 exclusive ones, and we're the cheapest and quickest. So we will build them in 6 months. So if anyone wants to get into Honeywood, you want more information, again, just comment or DM.
Absolutely. And you know what's really, really close to Wandy? The new Costco.
Oh yeah, I know. That's terrible.
Which people will love, right?
So Costco is selling
cheap fuel.
Anyway, that's another
cheap fuel. So the one in Hilton is perfect, right? It's pretty close to Frio. It's in a nice little secluded street. It's pretty quiet. I actually might have another block coming up there as well, so if you miss on this one, don't worry, I've got one that's almost identical up the road.
Who's the agent selling the land in Hilton?
Kim Turner. Thanks, Kim. He's been a legend, sending me all his land, helping all our investors over east. He's a legend, and he actually works with the clients. I tell you one, we've got a lot of real estate agents we spoke about. They won't give you 90 days to get your contracts when building. Kim's like, he negotiates that for you because he understands it. So cheers, Kim.
We were talking about in the last podcast the difference between real estate agents and land agents.
Yeah.
Now Kim is a real estate agent who understands the land game. So he's in that top 5% of those real estate agents that actually know what they're doing. Yeah. So that's a big shout out to Kim. Can speak more highly of him, just like we did last week to Lee from Parcel Property. But this is an infill block. It's a real estate agent selling it, not a land agent. But he knows his shit. So in terms of Eastern States investors, just Google Fremantle. It's the biggest city or the best city in Perth other than the CBD. It's on the ocean. People love it. It will literally go in minutes. And again, it can be a 6-month time.
One of the big things about Fremantle is that they're about to close down the ports and move it down to Coburn Way. So which means all that residential land and port land and is going to become residential cafes and over the next 10 years, which is only going to push your price of everything up, all right?
Yeah.
So perfect. I know we'll probably launch after Christmas, but I hope you all had an amazing Christmas. There's not many Christmas before we get out from me here at Building Perth and Chris and all the team. We can't wait to hear your comments. Please, please, please tell us what you want us to talk about. We'd love to know whatever it's you want to talk about. We'll talk about it. Do you want to talk about how well I played golf on Wednesday when I won the comp? Then we can talk about that. Best golf ever played. And the funniest, I want to hear funny stories about your building game. I want someone that's funny. I don't want negative. I want something funny. Put it in the comments and just tell me you had this experience, something funny happened. I want to hear it. And if you do it, you'll win that shirt that Chris is wearing.
This exact one.
He won't even wash it, he'll sign it.
I think we should get a client on, not one of our clients, a random client that's had a good or bad experience, and let them talk from what they...
Yeah, who wants to come on?
From their experience, yeah.
DM us, let us know, and we'll get back to you.
What's the prize this week?
Your shirt.
My shirt. Okay.
Your shirt, if you give us a funny story. We are working on a couple of builders or general managers from building companies to come in. That'll be in the new year. So, hey, get some questions you want us to ask on there, because these guys, some of the guys are going to do an absolute fantastic job, and they're at the pointy end of the stick, and they've seen it all.
They've seen it all, yeah, 100%. Big shout out to RBWA and La Vida Homes for this week.
Yep.
Doing well, guys. Keep it up. Jay and Mark Damasi, thank you for listening. Like and subscribe.
You know how to do it. Thanks, guys.
Christmas.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.